Hi, welcome to 5th grade. This is an overview of what to expect as your child enters 5th grade. So we're going to go over through all the things that they should know in preparation for this year. First of all, we're going to go over general expectations we have for your students and the curriculum in each of the subjects: reading, writing, math, science, and social studies. So general expectation. Organization is a big one. We really help your students try to stay organized, keep their separate classes together, don't lose items. This is especially helpful when they move into middle school. Respect and kindness is a really big thing that motivates our rules. In 5th grade, we have high expectations for students being respectful and kind to one another and to their teachers. Punctuality, being on time, turning in assignments on time. Again, all of that helps them be ready for 6th grade at the end of the year. And finally, meeting the expectations we have for your students and completing assignments for the curriculum that we cover. So first of all, in reading, this is the literature that some of the literature we'll be covering this year. Where the Red Fern Grows is the summer read. When they come back in the very beginning of the year, we spend about 2 weeks going over the different things in that book: characters, plot structure. So they also complete a project based on Where the Red Fern Grows, and when they come back in, we do a lot of discussion and activities related to that book. There's a lot of good environmental science to be found in all of these books. A Land Remembered is our literature that takes up about the first half, sometimes a little more, of the year. It's our forest biome book. It takes place in Florida and is a really nice example of a cross-curricular book where we can pull some science, some social studies, all learned throughout this really exciting story that the kids always fall in love with. Stowaway is covered in the second half of the year. It's our ocean biome. That's a really fun adventure based on a real historic voyage. And of course, we supplement with other literature chosen by the language arts teachers and also nonfiction texts. Some concepts that your students will be learning in reading, like I mentioned before: plot structure, character development, making inferences, foreshadowing, making connections, comparing and contrasting, and finally drawing conclusions. These concepts are taught in reading, and then we can make examples of in writing. In writing, students learn to write with author's purpose. We will learn 3 main styles of writing: narrative, with a beginning, middle, and end when they tell a story; opinion, where students learn to support their opinion in a piece; and informative, where you have an essay with an introduction that explains something and a conclusion. We also have a lot of fun with poetry. Students learn variety types of poems, and they enjoy doing that and finding different influences to inspire them. For the most part, throughout the year, especially with opinion and informative writing, their essays will be organized in 5 paragraphs. They will also learn how to write comparing 2 sets of texts. Spelling words and vocabulary words are also a big thing in 5th grade. We give them a list, and they will have quizzes, either weekly or every 2 weeks, depending on your language arts teacher. But yeah, so look for those. The students need to be responsible. They are covered in class, but students need to study for their spelling quiz and their vocab quiz every week. It really helps them get prepared for, okay, what's the best way to study? How do I learn best? And it really helps prepare for middle school, studying those every week. Math. Okay, math concepts. We go through the whole book, and we go in order because the beginning of the book really helps set that baseline for what they're going to learn in the next chapter and the next chapter. So some of the concepts we cover in math are place value, multiplication and division, algebra, graphing and data, fractions and decimals, and finally measurement and geometry. I would say one thing that you can work on at home with your student: if your student has not learned their times tables yet, that's going to help them so much to have those memorized. So that's something that they can study and practice and drill in order to help their math year go a little bit better. Science. There are three big umbrella concepts in science. We've got life science, earth science, and physical science. And within those sciences, there are separate chapters we use in our book, and students take notes, and we have a lot of fun labs and activities and experiments we do throughout the year to support those concepts. So we also have some vocab quizzes and tests at the end of each chapter, but they have a lot of fun with each of those concepts, and we try to tie them into environmental science whenever we can. For instance, we learn about the scrub forest a lot in A Land Remembered, and then that goes over to science. The ocean ecosystem every springtime for ocean biome. We also talk about the estuary, which is like a nursery for baby ocean animals, and that's fun to cover. And we also work with the garden and nature teachers in order to find those fun subjects that we can make connections to in the classroom and when we go outside in our lovely forest here at Learning Gate. And then social studies. Our curriculum in social studies is called USA Studies Weekly. In fourth grade, they had Florida Studies Weekly, I believe. So this is similar, but we have a lot of fun with the newspaper this year in fifth grade. We read it, we answer questions about it together, but we really have a lot of class discussions based on the social studies concepts, and the kids get really excited learning about their American history, where we come from. We also have an interactive notebook that goes along with it, and that motivates them to organize kind of like a timeline of America as we go through it. Some other things that we cover in social studies is a lot of geography, a lot of Florida, again related to A Land Remembered, and states and capitals. In the beginning of the year, usually sometime around September or October, we start the states and capitals. It's a very big goal for them to achieve. They work very hard in learning and being able to locate each state, name each state's capital and its abbreviation. So we do it region by region to chunk it up a little bit, and then we have a big state test at the end of the unit. And then in the second half of the year, we focus on world geography, which is the oceans and continents and where things are located in the whole global thing. And that about covers it for fifth grade. That's our curriculum and what to expect, and we're very excited and looking forward to working with your students. Thank you so much.